John Barnes. Chris Sutton has called you out. Welcome back to Full Football on this Saturday. Woo! So John Barnes says that Brendan Rodgers has got an easy job. Well, Chris Sutton has responded and called him out. So before we get into Chris Sutton's response to this, right? See Brendan Rodgers, right? He's had it easier than a few managers in Scotland, right, that manage the top two. Of course he has. But you know what the reality is with that? You still have to make it count. You still have to win the cups. You still have to win the leagues. Alright? You still have to step up to task and get the job done. You know what I mean? Rodgers still has to set his team out. And yeah, he's got a big budget, and yeah, he came into Ange Postecoglou's team. Right? But the reality is, he still has to coach them. And he's a good coach. Whether people want to believe it or not, Brendan Rodgers is a great coach. See if John Barnes was in charge of this Celtic team right now, I don't think they'd be 13 points clear at the league top of the league table. So big Brendan Rodgers getting buried for no reason by John Barnes. The same John Barnes, right, that, oversaw, maybe, that absolute horrific defeat back at the start of the year 2000. What a year. The year I was born. Obviously, Super Caligo ballistic. Celtic are atrocious. Got scud at 3-1. I mean, that was absolutely brutal. He was sacked pretty much after that game. I mean, he's done nothing really as a manager, John Barnes. I think he won. I'm pretty sure he won something as Jamaica manager, but to be honest, I don't really care. I have no idea why he even got the Celtic job. To people who are a wee bit older than me, why did John Barnes even get the job in '99? Like, why? What actually tempted Celtic into getting that job? Giving him that job? I mean, it ended well anyway, because obviously John Barnes went away, and then at the end of the season, they brought in O'Neill, I believe, at the end of the 99-00 season. So, here, can't really complain with that point of view. But why would you even get John Barnes in the first place, man? Absolute clueless. Anyway, we'll dive into what Chris Sutton had to say. As criticisms go, this was a bizarre one. John Barnes coming out and taking a bit of a pop at Brendan Rodgers was a real eyebrow raiser. Barnes has got a bit of cheek saying Rodgers has an easy life at Celtic. As someone who's been the manager of the club, you think he'd know better. It wasn't easy for him during his time in charge. It didn't look easy falling 20 odd points behind Rangers in a title race back then. It wasn't easy to beat Inverness Caledonian Thistle in the Scottish Cup. If anything, Barnes made a difficult job harder than what it was. I love Barnes as a player, but to suggest Rodgers has an easy life in Scotland is laughable. Let's be clear, Rodgers has made it look easy. This is a manager who's on track to win 12 out of 13 competitions he's entered. I don't care what state Rangers in or anyone else. That's a remarkable return. It's up there among the best boss any. It's among the best any bosses managed at the club or in the country. End of quote. And I agree with Sutton, right? See Rodgers, it doesn't matter about any other club, right? It's not Rodgers' fault. Rangers were doing in League 2, League 1, Championship for a few years, and it took a few years to rebuild. It's not Rodgers' fault right now. Rangers have, misused money and gave it to shite managers over the past couple of years, which has obviously, helped Rodgers to a degree. He still has to win it. You know what I mean? He still has to do it at the end of the day. Has Rodgers dropped the ball in the last two Old Firms? Of course he has. He's been fucking shite in them, let's be honest. Free, you could argue. But he's got his team over the line in the other games where the 13-point gap has manifested itself. It's like, didn't see Celtic losing at home to Falkirk this year or to Rafe in the Cup. You know what I mean? No. Or last year, I think they took on, who did they take on last year? Was it Fraserburgh? Bucky Thistle, I think it was. Didn't see them losing to Bucky Thistle. You know what I mean? Because Rodgers got them over the line. John Barnes is an absolute shite manager, man. And was it Dwight York who came out last year? Oh, I should get the Aberdeen job and I'd win the league easy. So many people underestimate, right, the Scottish League. I mean, obviously it's going to be easier to win a league title with Celtic, right, than it is going to be winning it with St Mirren or Livingston or something, right? But it's just like John Barnes being fucking disrespectful. Like, he can turn around and say that, oh, Celtic, he's got it easy compared to my time. But yeah, obviously, Rangers were much better back at the turn of the millennium, right, than we are now. That's factual, but he was still 20 odd points behind. And Sutton's right. This is a guy that was a manager of Celtic. He should know what it means, and he's just spewing utter shite about Big Brendan. But here, I do agree to a point about Rodgers getting it easy, but he still won. You know what I mean? He hasn't took his eye off the prize. He's not slipped up because Rangers have slipped up and Celtic standards have nosedived. He's still set to win a treble. Sutton went on to say the consistency shown over 2 spells has been incredible. It's not easy winning every week. It's not easy dealing with the demands of having to win every week and win every single trophy. And not many managers are capable of dealing with it. Ask Martin O'Neill if the Celtic job was a breeze. Ask Strachan, Lennon, Dahlia, Ange Postecoglou. Yes, Celtic might have a bigger budget than the rest, but making it count is a difficult balancing act. This is a job where draws are a disaster and defeats are a catastrophe. Across the city, the demands are similar, and it's churned up plenty of managers. End of quote. Well, you can't really disagree with that, my friends. Anyway, folks, what else did he say? He says something about Bart. So hold on. Barnes went on to admit there are unrealistic expectations of the club in the Champions League. What part of that is easy then? Celtic managers are expected to get the knockout stages of the European Premier competition with a budget comparable to teams in the English Championship. If you parachute at the likes of Burnley in the Champions League, most people are expecting to get battered, but Celtic have to hold their own, and they did that this year. There's nothing easy about it, and this week won't have been easy on the back of a defeat to Rangers. End of quote. Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's what Rangers and Celtic, they do well in Europe. You know what I mean? And for Celtic in the Champions League, he's right. If you put fucking Burnley in or Leeds right now, you would expect them to get battered. I don't think they would necessarily get battered every game, right? Burnley and Leeds, I don't, because there is some teams in the Champions League, like we can say, like Sutton can talk about, oh, we've got the same budget as a Championship team, right? But the reality is, like the likes of Slovan Bratislava, right? Stormgrass, teams like that, they've got less of a budget than Celtic and that other team, what do you call them? Like Burnley, English Championship teams. But anyway, John Barnes talking out his arse. Leave your thoughts down below. And peace.